because he mentioned Saccharine, do we start with Saccharine first, Eric Holmes, or no? What do you want to do? You're the boss.
Let's go with Saccharine first.
All right, Saccharine. It centers on this young woman. I believe her name is Hannah. She's played by Midori Francis. Hannah is a medical student. She is, I mean, she believes she's overweight. Okay, I think it starts off, she looks perfectly normal in my opinion, but she feels that she's overweight, and you see her working out on, I believe on the, not Stairmaster, she's on a, what is it? What is the thing? I think it's a Stair. Yeah, she's on a Stairmaster, and she looks to her left, and there's a girl on a bike, and she's really hot and heavy for her. She's checking her out, and that girl ends up being a fellow colleague of hers, and we'll get to that in a second. But Hannah is a medical student. She wants to lose weight, number one. So that girl she's looking, sort of very quickly scoping up next to her, and who's biking, that woman is along with being a student.
I think it was a former classmate.
Yeah, she's a student. When
she's like, hey, how's it going? She's like, oh, you're Melissa or whatever her name was. And then she talks about like how she just lost a bunch of weight. You can ask me. It's like, all right, how'd you lose weight? Actually, it wasn't that difficult. Just took these pills. Here, you want one? Here, take two.
And that was another. We'll get to that in a second. But the girl that she was scoping out was she was working out at the same gym. But that woman is played by, what is her name? Madeline Madden. Madeline Madden is this woman who is the object of Hannah's affections.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And this woman, at the end of the workout, she talks to Hannah and says, hey, I'm hosting a 12-week workout class to get in shape. Do you want to be a part of it? Hannah's initially resistant, but eventually Hannah enrolls in this 12-week course to better her body and maybe lose weight. And then, to Eric's point, later that evening, Hannah is celebrating her birthday. She goes to a club with a couple of her friends. One of her friends is a fellow medical student played by Daniel McDonald. All right, so they're in this club, and like Eric mentions, there's an attractive young woman who starts talking to Hannah. That attractive young woman, she offers Hannah a pill, and that woman is a former high school classmate, like Eric mentioned, of Hannah's, and she offers her a pill and a couple pills, and Hannah takes a pill, and then it's very layered because they party all night, and when Hannah wakes up, she sees I believe she's eaten a lot of food. Her room's a little bit messy because there's filled with just, I don't know, not cans, but just Tupperware. You could tell that she had a full night of eating and binging along with partying. And then she also had the pills. And then but she quickly realizes that the pills help her lose weight. They help her lose weight even though she's eating, and she's trying to figure out what's in the pills. Eric Holmes, should we mention what's in the pills? Because Bruce Perky, I listened to his review, he mentioned what's in the pills, and then in this official synopsis of Saccharine, they mentioned what's in the pills. I thought they shouldn't mention it. It would have been cool.
I think it's fine because she finds it out pretty quick. And
okay, you're right.
It's not so much what the pills are made of, or rather what she makes the pills out of. It's what that means later on. That would be the spoiler. What the pills are made of is kind of pretty early. But
okay, why don't you mention what the pills are made of, and then you take over as far as your thoughts.
She takes one of the pills and pulls it apart and does I don't know what you call it, but she basically just looks to see what it's made out of. Uses instruments at her job. Oh, this is made out of human ash, and then so she takes pieces of the cadavers, burns them up, and makes her own pills out of it. And then all the stuff that was happening before starts really ramping up, like a lot, and then it starts getting sort of creepier and crazier from there.
Okay, Eric mentioned creepier and crazier. The reason why it's creepy and crazy are two reasons. Like I mentioned, Hannah enrolls in a 12-week workout course because she wants to lose weight, but most importantly than she's pretty much in lust with that instructor. Okay, that's part one. Part two is Eric mentioned the cadavers, turning them into ashes. She and her medical students, they have a cadaver that they get to work on within the semester, and this cadaver, they nicknamed that cadaver either Betty or Bertha. I think it's Bertha because the cadaver is really big. So the cadaver is so big that Hannah, throughout the course of making these pills, she can take portions of this body or bones, Eric says, grind them up, put them through an incinerator, make ash, and then make her own weight loss pills. And the rest of the movie deals with while Hannah is making these pills and taking these pills, she's also binging on food. What's weird is the more she eats, the more weight she loses.
Yeah.
Eric? And what
Yeah.
is the mystery behind that? There is a supernatural element, Eric, and then I'm gonna let you
So
take
she
it
has,
wherever you.
so
Yeah,
she has this insatiable hunger, and so she's constantly binging. But then if she the more she eats, the more she loses weight. But if she doesn't eat, that's when she starts getting haunted by these crazy visions or
what do you think? Yeah, what do you want to say? Do you want
it's
to say vision? Do you want to say something else? I'm cool with
well,
whatever you want to say.
it's unclear whether she's actually seeing or experiencing this or if it's all in her head.
Fair.
Because
Okay.
there's even a couple times where she'll have a friend there. Don't you see it? No, I don't. I don't know what you're talking about. So she doesn't know if she's going crazy or if she's being haunted for real.
Okay. When we get to
then you'll find out later on.
okay, good. We'll find out later on, and maybe at the end of the show, Eric and I will possibly do a little bit of a mini spoiler on Saccharine. It's directed by, I believe, what's her name? Natalie.
Erica James.
Yes, thank you, Eric.
Who did what?
Well,
Relic.
we did Relic. She did Relic, which some years ago, me, Bruce, and Eric absolutely raved about this movie. And then several years later, after that, she had a higher scale film. I think it's a Paramount release, Apartment 7A, which I still have not gotten to. So I think me and Eric, and I'm assuming Bruce, are quote unquote judging or reviewing this movie on the basis of 4 or 5 years ago. We really loved Relic. So we have, I don't know, Eric, I'm putting words in your mouth. I had high expectations for Saccharine, knowing the director. All that said,
Okay.
Eric, yeah, how did this live up or live down to your expectations as far as the story
I
goes?
think much like Relic, Erica James has a way of getting some real creepiness out of things that it's hard to explain because it's not like in your face creepiness, like, ooh, look how creepy we are. We're going to tilt our head sideways and do all that. It's real subtle, but kind of like in Relic, where it's like they go into one room and another room and it's got kind of like an endless building, sort of kind of nightmare quality to it, but it's not like not in your face. This one is a little bit more, but not as much as other movies like this might be.
Bruce mentioned this
And
movie
it's
when I
also,
asked, he said it was gross. Did you find the movie to be gross?
sometimes, yeah. Especially when she's eating, because like they always do the close up of her mouth and the crank the noise up. I would say this movie kind of comes off as fat phobic sometimes, which people might have an issue with. I just look at it as a movie, but like I'm the guy that liked The Whale, and there was plenty of people that had bad things to say about that because of the fat phobic nature of that. And fair enough, if you had those issues with The Whale, you might have that with Saccharine as well.
Can it be
I just-
triggering? Can this movie be triggering to some people, possibly because of that?
For that, yeah, and also some of the stuff that happens in the movies kind of. I personally wouldn't be eating while I was watching this, just because some of the stuff is pretty gross.
Is it too much? Is it too excessive, you think?
I think that's kind of what he's going for, so I wouldn't call it too much. I'd call it kind of nailed the target they're aiming for.
Remember, this is a medical student. So if you think there's not going to be medical situations in this movie that might gross you out as well as the food eating, you'll be wrong. There are some moments. Yes, Eric.
To your point, though, that stuff's not nearly as gross as the food eating. I don't the way they shoot it and the way they do the sound on the food eating, and even the end credits,
Yes.
kind of end titles before they go. Not it doesn't have a mid credit scene or anything like that, but like the title sequence they do before the rolling credits. Yeah, it's not fun to look at. We'll say that.
Eric, I'm not going to ask for your rating first. I'm going to throw in a couple of things. Not a caveat, a couple of things before you give me your rating.
That's a different director, but one.
You're right, exactly, on caveat. That's a great film, by the way. But Saccharine, before you get to your rating, Eric, I don't want you to even write your rating. I want you to ruminate on this. Couple of facts. Midori Francis, who plays Hannah, very great. I thought she was
love her in this. Yeah.
so good. Do you think that she actually ate the food or the slushies? Do you think they did a good editing job?
I mean,
What do you
I don't
think?
know how you would, the slushy part, the only way to not do it is you would have to use CGI because it was
Okay,
just
right.
one. They didn't do a bunch of quick cuts. It was just one shot, and then she
Right.
did the
So,
thing.
do you think she ate all the food there and can you imagine?
It's hard to say. I would probably guess a lot of it. I mean,
All of it. All of
Yeah.
it. She ate.
All of it.
Can you imagine? And are we assuming that these shots are not one take? Are we assuming that? Come on, Eric. Is that not dedication? That's number one. She
Yeah.
ate all
Well, the amazing thing is her character, because this has got the movie Thinner. The guy gets
Yes.
thinner as they so Midori, she's not like huge, but she's like got a little weight on her. And then throughout the movie, they kind of, I'm guessing they use makeup and whatnot to kind of pare it down as she's supposed to be getting thinner and thinner throughout.
That's her real frame, and then she was in a she was in a big suit for the
Yeah.
For the
Not like this wasn't like Brendan Fraser, and
no,
it wasn't
just
quite. It was real subtle. I put on a couple of pounds, kind of like me or Greg, probably more me, but
probably more me too. Yeah,
but when you say that she ate all that, now I'm thinking of it. And it was like towards the end of the movie, she's like at her skinniest that she's going to be. How did she maintain that? Well, I'm guessing every day on set she has to eat like 12 pounds of food or whatever.
Unbelievable.
My guess is that she would have had to chew it, cut in the trash can immediately after.
Exactly. Very good, Eric.
Not even to maintain weight, just after a while, you just be like,
you might really throw up. Like it might make you throw up.
Go to a buffet and take like 7 plates.
Yeah,
you're gonna start hurting after about the 3rd or 4th one. Yeah,
exactly, Eric.
Different people can do different things, but someone at her size, I can't. Yeah, I don't know how she pulled it off. But even beyond that, I really liked her character in this.
Number 2 movie fact. Director Natalie Erica James, her father in real life, had a lifelong struggle with weight. So Saccharine is partly inspired by just seeing how it affected him, how food affected his life, and by default, the family's life as well. So a bit of Saccharine, which again was written and directed by Natalie Erica James, was inspired by that. So those are a couple of movie facts before, Eric, you get into your rating and final thoughts on.
I mean, that's interesting. I'd like to hear her thought, because I don't think I'm speaking out of turn saying that there's some people going to be watching this calling it fat phobic and not liking it for that reason alone. I kind of, and if that turns out to be the case, I mean, if people watch it and they don't care, then fair enough. But if it turns out that people watch it and feel that way about it, it'd be interesting to kind of hear her thoughts on it, coming at it from that point of view.
Yeah, that'd be very interesting. I wish either you or me was able to do an interview for Saccharine. They never got back to us. So I'm giving Saccharine 0 stars, man.
No,
come on. Is that bias? Is that unprofessional? No, is that unprofessional? Am I being unprofessional? Yes, I am. You're
gonna get the Mobile Suit Symphony of Circle people angry.
Eric Holmes, what is your rating on Saccharine?
I think. What am I on this?
How about this? Can I go first?
I'm 3.5, between 3.5 and 4 on this. I'll lean 3.5.
3.5.
But it's certainly effective. But also, this is a situation where the Relic set a really high bar. This doesn't quite meet that bar, but still pretty good. I would recommend it.
Saccharine for me is, I really glommed onto this movie because, as Eric and Bruce know, over a year ago, because this movie, it talks about weight loss drugs. That's one of the themes of the movie. I took a weight loss drug. I took Zepbound. When I took Zepbound, I was 206 pounds. I went, and Eric, you probably don't know this. I don't know if you're observant. Within the last 11 months, I went from 206 within 2 or 3 months. I went all the way down to about 155. So I lost about 50 pounds. I now plateaued back to about 178. But during that journey, it was very surreal when I got down to that really low weight. And it got to the point where there were times when I felt dizzy, or I would tell some of my close friends. I didn't tell you this, Eric, and you are a close friend, by the way. But I would say, I've lost all this weight, but I still feel like the person I was at 206, and it's playing with my head. And this movie, don't throw these big words to me. I read about it.
That's what they call it.
Stop educating. Don't give me this education, Eric.
I won't say their name, but I had a friend tell me that I think I should go on a diet. And me and the other people were looking at him like, are you crazy? What, are you going to lose bone mass? There's nothing left.
Exactly.
Actually, now that I think of it, maybe that's kind of, because the main character, she's like Hannah. She's not like grossly overweight or anything.
No, not at all. Not at all.
But like in her head, she feels that, and it's like, I gotta lose weight to be accepted or whatever. And so, I mean, I said maybe people think it's fat phobic, and maybe it is, but I think kind of when you started talking about the weight loss thing, maybe it's more about the body dysmorphia of it all.
Very
And
good. Very interesting, Eric. Yeah.
hey, look, if you want to lose weight, do that, but
It
just know
will.
that
Yeah.
people are still going to love you for who you are, no matter
Yeah.
what you look
Right.
like.
100%. 100%.
And so to put yourself through all that hell just to lose a couple of pounds, and actually, I'm going to bump this up to a 4.
Of course. I love it. I love it. You bump it. See? Bump it up to a 4.
We'll get more into spoilers because I'm kind of see. This is a good thing about doing the review stuff. Like, you come in with an idea, and then we start talking, or like with the drama, me and Bruce start talking, and then
Yeah. In
look,
fact,
watching movies in a vacuum sucks. It's always fun when you get to talk to someone about it. Kind of you get your brain turning.
Eric, so my rating,
I'm up to 4 stars on this.
very good. 4 stars for Eric Holmes. For me, since it was a personal journey as well, watching this movie. Also, Eric, who's my favorite director?
Michael. Oh wait, no, not Michael Bay. Brian De Palma.
Brian De Palma. There is a moment in the third act where we see Hannah. I talked about medical stuff. She's trying to do something medical. And this something medical leads into this very surreal, real, is it not situation. So think about.
I'm so glad I bumped this up to 4 now.
Think about scalpel. Think about possible transparent or white trash bag, plastic bag. Think about.
I don't want to think about that anymore.
Think about Bertha. Think about Shoots, and think about looking into the very parts of your soul. So all of these things.
There was a scene in one of the Saw movies. I think it was like 2 or 3. I can't remember. But the one character falls into a pit of needles, like syringe.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And then there's a scene similar to that in this, and not quite as visceral because it's not a pile of needles, but it is just a bunch of the biohazard bags from hospitals. Like, I'm just looking at it like, going, no, get the hell out of there right now.
There is a sequence here which look, if I'm trying to make all of us a little bit more cheeseburger money over in CinemAddicts, but if I get on a given week, if I have enough money, I want to purchase this on Blu-ray and watch that scene over and over again because
why torture yourself like that?
It's such.
And let me be clear, that's a great scene, and it's so good. I never want to watch it again.
It's such a beautifully mounted scene, and I was referencing Brian De Palma because, as Eric and of course Bruce knows, that the reason De Palma is my favorite director is because he mounts visual sequences, which, irregardless of the plot or its cohesion within the fabric of the storyline, it's just a masterful watch. And Eric said, it is a scene that a lot of people don't want to see again, but for some reason, maybe because I'm just a weirdo who just breaks up with people over Donnie Brasco, but I just want to keep on seeing that over and over again. And we're going to get to spoilers. We've been talking about Saccharine way too much. 4.5 stars for me. Absolutely love this movie. So glad that Eric bumped it up to a 4. I'm not going to say what Bruce Perky's rating is, but I may bump up Bruce Perky's rating myself and just AI his review. Sorry, Bruce Perky. I can. Don't you talk to me like that with your education body dysmorphia. Bruce Perky, you're going to be AI'd today. I'm going to AI your review. So check that out, Bruce Perky. Yes.
That was nice doing the podcast with you, Greg.
That is your review of Saccharine. All right, guys, this is a very quick spoiler review. I'm going to say this right now, not false advertising. I told Eric Holmes, my lovely, wonderful niece is here. I want to spend some quality time with her. I haven't seen her in a couple of weeks, but we want to get through some Saccharine spoilers, Eric Holmes. I'm sure you have some questions, things you want to talk about. Let's get to Saccharine. Anything you want to discuss about the movie or spoil?
Yes.
For our listeners.
What was it about? I don't think it's...
What is it about? Okay. Saccharine, first of all...
So, real quick, I guess the main thing is one of the things I was worried about is people seeing this as fat phobic because eating's disgusting. And then the main thing is that we didn't get into was that when she eats, it keeps this entity at bay. But then when we see the entity, so she's making the pills with the human ashes. And the ghost of this woman that the ashes came from is haunting her. She's big and super fat and gross and scary. And then and that's kind of where I was worried about people feeling a certain way about this.
I think what's cool, initially she doesn't see her. She doesn't see the ghost initially.
Yeah.
I mean, the way the way she sees a ghost initially is through the reflection, through the spoon, right?
Yeah.
She sees because I've seen this movie 1.5 times. Okay,
A
we have the
spoon of
link.
all things.
A spoon, several spoons. She'll look at it, and okay, so right, but yeah, a spoon of all things, of course, with this movie, what it's about. But Eric, is the ghost real or not? What do you
Oh,
think?
yes.
Yes, and
'Cause
why
she
is the
was
ghost real?
showing her friend. Her friend didn't see it. First of all, that spoon fan she made was freaking cool. But
The spoon
she was
fan,
showing her
yes,
friend, and it's like, I don't see anything. And then stuff just starts flying.
in
Just
the
starts
library.
flying.
I think they're in the library or something in the university, wherever they're at.
Yeah.
You see the
And
stuff
then
for the
her
books
mom's
flying.
there, and she's going, and then everything starts freaking. The people can't see this entity that's following her, but they see its effects. So
Like,
I don't think the movie's trying to say that she's doing it and they're freaking out about her, because like, they see it happen and they're like, what the hell was that? Yeah,
right.
you know, even
Daniel
her friend,
McDonald.
the end when she wants to do the surgery on herself, because, oh, if I cut this tumor out and then
The
give
two,
it back to him, that'll
yes,
be like giving back the ashes.
giving back
And
the
then
ashes of Bertha.
her
Yeah, it's
friend
like
clearly doesn't want to do it, but it's not because she doesn't believe in this ghost. I think at that point she does now, because she's
because she
seen
saw
that.
stuff flying. She's like you said, saw the stuff, the chairs
But at the
moving
same
around.
time, I'm not letting you do that. But she has no choice because she locked herself in that room.
Yeah, and then until Danielle McDonald, her friend, the actress Danielle McDonald, who plays her friend, she ends up helping Hannah because Hannah, like Eric was saying, she tries to do surgery on her, a little bit of she splices herself open, her stomach open, so she could get the tumor out. And what Danielle McDonald's character, her friend, has to do is to make sure that her friend Hannah doesn't bleed out. So she ultimately, towards the end, she saves Hannah's life by slapping her in the face, waking her up from her apparent dream, and so Hannah is bleeding out, and
Oh yeah.
ultimately she gets stitched up by her friend. Yes, Eric.
Just to clarify, that part wasn't real. The part with her in the bags with all the biohazard stuff, and then
The biohazard stuff was
I
amazing.
think that was all in her head, maybe.
Of course, yeah, because
maybe possibly with real consequences, because I think that's her doing the surgery, and then that entity still coming at her. So
you
I think
think
there were
it's
still
real
stakes there, but that it happened. I think that part happened in her mind. That still
in her
had
mind.
real life stakes. She wasn't actually in the trash bin or whatever that
So,
was.
or she didn't, because as soon as she starts splitting herself open, I think the frame of you see herself descend from the floor of remember the room that she was in. She
Yeah.
slowly descends and she goes into the trash chute, the trash bin, with all the trash and all that stuff, and she's down below. And you're saying, Eric, that's obviously imagined in her head. So we're going to clear this. She does not go into some kind of ghost world from Bertha.
No.
It's not Bertha's.
I
Okay,
don't
okay,
think
so
so.
so she's in her state of consciousness, but then she sees Bertha. When
Yeah.
she sees Bertha moving close towards her, she starts taking she
Real quick before we
yeah
go further on that, when she first sees Bertha, how
Bertha.
it like slowly kind of
Oh,
developed. It's like it's just a bag of trash. And this bag's of trash. It's bags of wait, what is that? Cuts back to her,
that's
cuts back. Oh,
right.
that's her head. Cuts
That's
away,
her
cuts
head.
back to her, and now her shoulders are up. And it's like that how subtle that kind of reveal was. It was kind of
Beautiful.
similar to Signs, the M. Night Shyamalan, where
Right.
that alien hands like just kind of there the whole time and you
Right.
don't even see it until they back up and the hand like grabs them. It's like, what the oh shit.
Yeah,
Oh, sorry.
exactly. No worries, no worries. So she goes closer. The Bertha goes closer to Hannah. And Hannah's obviously panicked and she's reaching into her open stomach to try to get out the tumor. But what's interesting is Bertha, when she goes close, very close to Hannah, she reaches for Hannah's hand, takes the hand out of the stomach, puts Hannah's hand in her mouth. I've seen the scene several times, by the way. I love the scene so much. And then starts to bite on her hand. As soon as you hear, I don't remember if you hear a crunch, but as soon as Bertha bites the hand of Hannah in that imaginary, at the bottom of this trash chute, it's just two of them amidst all the trash. But Bertha, once she bites into Hannah's hand, it cuts right into the slap. You hear the slap, and Hannah comes to consciousness when she realizes she's bleeding out. And then that's the end of the scene. That's just a beautiful
Even before that, she's looking up the trash.
Eric, yes.
And her old self is looking down at the trash chute. So she's
looking at
her
herself.
past self and her current self are like just
melding,
looking at each other.
And I don't even know, Eric. So that's how you it's her looking at herself, one at the top of the trash chute and one at the bottom. I don't even know personally how to interpret that scene.
Neither do I. I was kind of hoping that you'd be like, "Oh yeah, that means this." I'm like, "Of course it does," and I'm also scared. But I thought it was a cool scene. I have no idea how to read that.
I'll give it one of many reads. I'm sure it has. I think that very good that you brought this up, Eric. When Hannah is looking up to herself, and Hannah is also looking down on herself. Hannah is looking at each other. They're looking to two Hannahs. They're looking at each other. Is one past and was one present, or are they both present? What timelines are? My read on it is, for the first time in the story, and I just made this up right now, Hannah is actually seeing herself. She is seeing herself, and she's connecting with herself. So once she sees herself connecting, there's a slap. She wakes up. She's bleeding out. She's saved by her friend. And then the rest of the movie, which is all several minutes left.
I wonder if she's looking up at her past self, kind of similar to what you're saying. She's looking up at her past self. I'm sitting here in a bag of biohazard trash, bleeding out, all because I wanted to lose a couple pounds. Look, that's what I used to look like.
I will say this.
Was it worth it? Probably not. You know what? I think I look fine. I was a perfectly lovely human. And now I'm destroying myself for what? So I could be here mired in garbage.
Good read,
bleeding
Eric.
out.
I will say this. Do you remember as soon as she's almost bleeding out and she gets saved by her friend? Do you know where it cuts to next? Do you remember where it cuts to next?
No, I don't. No.
Okay, that's fine because I've seen this 1.5 times. It cuts right to Hannah, all dressed up, getting ready. She's putting on her clothes, and her mother is saying, "Hannah, you're going to be late." Hannah is going to be late to the honoring. That's not a funeral service. It's the medical students and the administrators or teachers or whatnot. They're honoring the cadavers the humans who, as soon as they pass, they donated their body, right?
Yeah.
So there is a little bit of a service for these dead people honoring them. And one of the people that they're honoring is Bertha. I don't know, forgot what her real name was. They nicknamed her Bertha. I think Big Bertha. That's like a mean way. One of the students named her Bertha, if I recall. But at the funeral, that's what they're doing. It cuts to them at the funeral. And you think Hannah is fine because Hannah's with her friend. She's honoring Bertha. You think there's a connection. Everything's going to be fine. But, Eric, here's a couple things that you might have missed. I missed on the first thing. At the beginning of the movie, when Bertha, the cadaver, is introduced to the students, which includes Hannah, Hannah looks at the hand of the cadaver, and the cadaver's fingernails are painted turquoise. And then you see Hannah just rubbing her fingers a little bit, and then it cuts to later on, within a couple minutes later, she's taking, I forget where I think she's at her folks' house, her parents' house, at her house, and she's taking off the turquoise polish because it creeps her out that they have the same turquoise nail coloring. So she's trying to remove it. At the end of this third act, as soon as she bleeds out, is almost bleeding out, and she's saved, and it cuts to her getting ready for the funeral service or that service, she starts putting that same nail polish on. She starts putting it back on.
All right.
So, and you're wondering, why is she putting the nail polish back on? And then it cuts to the service. And then, Eric, what happens at the end of the movie from your recollection? Do you remember what happens at the end of the movie?
I don't remember.
There was
that one lady, and then
Yeah, my bad. Alanya, played by Madeline Madden. She goes back to Alanya's apartment with groceries, and she tells Alanya, "Here's the groceries.
Okay,
here's the groceries. I'm bringing back because remember when they had that night of."
She starts making out with her.
But remember,
it cuts to, I believe, the last shot. I think it was the last shot was her basically gutted on the.
So what happens is Alanya, played by Madeline Madden.
I was thinking that was an obsession for some reason.
No worries. Yeah, because I guess those movies swim in the same worlds. But Hannah, because they're both about obsession, right? Parts of them are about obsession and devouring and all that stuff. But Hannah, when she returns back to Alania's apartment. She brings back groceries because these are the food that one night she had intercourse with Alanya.
Yeah.
They had that night, but then in the morning or whatever, in the middle of the night, she started eating from Alania's fridge, and she left a huge mess on that floor. And she just left Alanya after that because she was so embarrassed. So then she comes back with groceries as a way of saying, sorry, I made a mess on your floor. Sorry, I did this with all the food. And she's trying to apologize to Alanya. And then as soon as she sits next to Alanya and Alanya is trying to learn what's going on, yeah, Hannah just wants to leave. She goes, okay, I'm out. But Alanya starts kissing her and caressing her. And remember, Hannah has a crush and she's attracted to Alanya. And they start kissing, and they start kissing harder and more passionate.
Eating.
And hard. And then, yes, Hannah takes a bite of her neck, which isn't too gross because you just see her I believe her.
I was just kind of like,
to bite.
See that, and then it just cuts away.
It cuts away to what Eric was saying. It shows now Alanya has turned into a cadaver herself. She is on her couch.
That was also earlier in the movie.
So let's go to Alanya first. And you see on her stomach, it's all exposed. You see her organs, and of course it's pretty gross, but you see her Grey's Anatomy on the freaking couch, naked, and the organs splayed out. Okay, it's not as gross as you would think because, like Eric was saying, it's like from the earlier parts of the movie. And yes.
It's weird because, to your point, it looks more like an art project than it does a murder.
So it clearly was, but it is a little bit of an art project to what Eric was saying, because at the beginning of the movie, from my recollection, there is, I think, on the medical buildings, in one of the walls, there is a art picture of a person's cadaver, and you see that person's organs. And that art piece mimics the way Alanya looks towards the end of that movie on that couch. And then also, it's not just an art project, it's a human project, because it also mimics the cadavers that the medical students were working on. And then on top of that, one has to wonder, with this cadaver, with this murder, will Hannah start chopping up Alanya for ashes to get more I mean, that's my read. What will she do? Will she just straight bury it, or will she use Alanya for her weight loss pills? What do you think, Eric Holmes? Your thoughts?
She'll make ashes and take the weight loss pills and then become, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, that could be a read.
This is actually a really bad spoiler thing, because we're saying what happens. It's like, what does it mean? It's like,
no, I'll tell you what I think it means. I think when she was in the middle of, with the weight loss drug, she was in the middle of this obsession with food, obsession with Alanya. And what happens, so she traded one
obsession for another, you think?
I think what happens is once she starts looking at herself in the chute, and this is my read, I could be completely wrong, but it's just my take. Once she sees herself in the middle of that imaginary consciousness, and she sees herself in the chute, and the person in the chute sees a person on the bottom of the chute, she realizes who she was. And once she realizes who she was, which Hannah is ultimately a very bad person. She committed murder at the end. She was eating human beings. That was her moment of realization in her consciousness that, okay, I'm not going to fight it anymore. I'm just going to be who I am. And that's what leads her towards the end. That's what leads her to start putting the turquoise polish back on her fingers. Because at the beginning, she took them off because she said, I'm not this cadaver has the same nail polish as me. I'm nowhere near that. But at the end, as she suddenly realizes who she was, and she embraces that villain role, that really evil role, and then she starts putting on the polish again, and she goes to the funeral, and then she commits the murder, and then at the end credits, where you see the suturing of donuts and the whatever, that liquid going over donuts and different food, the liquid is if you look closely, the liquid or whatever is running over not just the food, it's running over all these little people. They're little people that are little figurines inside this food that are being run over by this liquid. And then and my read is just, that's Hannah, and she's whatever her obsession is.
The liquid was supposed to be rendered fat, and then sometimes when it was like that yellowish clear color, I think it was supposed to be rendered fat, and then other times it was like red. I'm not sure.
But ultimately, I think
rendered fat. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe that's just Hannah's continuing obsession, and that leads to her destroying other people in her wake. Maybe that's just my little read on.
Yeah.
Yeah. What is your read on Saccharine before we get out of here with spoilers? That's my.
I was just trying to think of why it was called Saccharine now that I think, because this
I don't
movie
know.
is anything but saccharine.
Exactly. Any final thoughts before we get out of here on Saccharine?
No, I don't know, because usually when we talk about stuff like this, it's you kind of get the mind rolling and start thinking of stuff, and
Makes you want to see it again a little bit, right? It's a part,
yeah, a little bit, just kind of oh me, man. But
yeah. All right. Well,
I think you're leading the way on this one because I got nothing.
Still 4 stars with you on Saccharine after all the conversation?
Oh, yeah.
It's still okay with the 4 stars, right? Didn't harm it. Okay, 4 stars for Eric Holmes, 4.5 stars for me. We both really enjoyed Saccharine. Let us know in the comments what you think of this movie. Was my read completely wrong?
Oh,
is Eric's read about what the heck is this movie about?
I got these.
As well? Oh, okay.
Portobellos.
Oh, portobello, folks. Those are not portobellos. Those are.
I've had those in here for a couple of months. Maybe we'll take some and watch Saccharine again.
Are those portobellos, or is Bruce Perky missing a rib? You don't know. You don't know.
Yeah, it could be anything.
It could be anything. Okay.
Although, if anyone's got any ideas on what to watch while having the portobellos, let me know.
Let us.
Otherwise they're just gonna sit there and collect dust. If you come over and you want them, go ahead.
You're not having portobellos before you head to work, are you? No, of course not.
No.
You get later.
No, those have been literally sitting there for 2 months now.
Oh, no. Okay, so we love portobellos. We love Saccharine. Tell us what you think. And please like, comment, share, subscribe to us here on the CinemAddicts YouTube channel or our audio feed of audio podcasts. Thank you so much for your support. Most importantly, tell us what you think of Saccharine. Take care, guys.